Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Algorithm. Today I'm going to show you a pretty cool thing I've learned. It's how to create an AI agent through a vector database. And then what we're going to do is walk through step by step how to create it and how to call another uh, database. So the first thing we need to do is always start with the trigger. So for this trigger, you always want to start with the AI agent. I found that's the most useful. Again, very important to rename things. As we create these files, we have a lot of different things we're working on. If we don't name them properly, we're going to mix them up. So we're going to name this vector agent test. I'm putting test because I've already created one. That's what I'm working off of on the left, and I'm making it for you on the right. So now that that's made, it's renamed. What I do is I'm going to click the new button, and I'm going to want this one to start when a trigger. I don't even need to type that. It's actually always down here on the chat message. So now that we have the when chat message is received, we want to connect this to something. So what we can do with this is just the testing environment, okay? And what we can do here is what I use this for is to create the agent. And this is important because you can open this up and you can start typing what you want it to solve or what you want it to do. Now you could hide this. And the reason I use this is I do this in the editor environment. This is important to know. Once you start executing, it's not really going to do anything. So what you can do is you can connect a different application like Telegram or WhatsApp, and you can use that to interact with these type of tools. So I'll do that in another video. And in that video, I'll set it up so that we can create an AI assistant. That's going to be on the video below. So now in this one, what we're going to do is we're going to create an advanced AI agent. So you click advanced AI and you click AI agent. So now we have the agent come through. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here's how he looks, or she, whatever you want it to be. Now, again, what you want to do is always rename. So now vector agent. When you have these workflows, I promise that's such a useful tip. If you don't take anything from what I'm saying, just take that, please. So now we're going to go back. And what we need to do is this is actually the power of this comes into these things that are around it. All right. So the first thing we need to do is connect ChatGPT or any type of tool that is the brain. This is the brain. So this is the chat module. Whatever you put in here, it's going to go to the vector agent. That vector agent is going to send it to the brain and then the memory and the tool. So it's so powerful. I love this tool. I don't know if you can see me getting pumped up for it. So OpenAI, I like to just use OpenAI because it's easier and I have the APIs already connected. So now we have this connected. What we're going to do is very simple. If you need help connecting it, please message me. I will connect it for you. Again, I'm going to send you this. If you need this JSON, I will send you over the JSON. Whatever you need, I will take care of you. You let me know. So now I saw it was red. It's not red anymore. So it's connected. We are good to go on that. What's important for this is your memory. So again, maybe I misspoke. You have your vector agent. It's going to call ChatGPT. It's your brain, right? It's your brain in the sense of you can think. So that's where you're going to think at, right? But your memory is going to talk through what's already been mentioned. So if you open the chat and you say, hey, send me my next meeting I have. And, us humans, we think the AI should already understand what we're saying. And then the next message we say, could you delete that meeting? If you don't have a memory, it's not going to know what to do that. So what you want to do is you have your memory, put window buffer memory is the easiest. So here's an important step, context window. You can change this. You can put it as far back as you want. 5 is pretty standard. But what that's going to do is how many calls back do you want it to remember? Now you got to remember this is going through your data and it's going to review your data. So it's better to keep it smaller. If you put 100, there's no need for it. How many times are you going to use this in a day? So kind of find that sweet spot. 5 is normal. So just leave it at 5. Not a big deal. All right. Next thing, what you want to do is add a tool. This is the next powerful thing. You know, everyone is so unimpressed by AI because it just writes. Now we're saying the AI can write, but it could also call tools. So we're giving it its hands and feet to do things. So I think this is pretty interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in memory vector. So don't worry about it. Don't know what it is. You don't need to know what it is. I know what it is, but I can explain to you on another video. What I'm going to do is put company data. What I did was I made this to start. And what I do is I copy this, bring in a company's data so that I am working off their information and I'm not mixing it up with anything else. And there's no type of misinformation on the data we're pulling in. Now, the way vector databases work is the information is kind of overlapped. So there is a way for the AI to kind of have a misinterpretation of it. But I promise it's so much better than a human going through vast amounts of information. So now this is red. The reason it's red is because we need to embed it with something, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to embed it with OpenAI. Have it load and keep it the same. Just keep it the same. Remember to rename these. So embedded AI memory. Just name it something that's personable to you because you will need to build this out. Now, what I do want to show you something that I haven't, really put in any videos is the right click. So as you're building these out, you could have very complicated systems. A good tip is to right click in the environment right here, and you could put add a sticky note. So if you just put add a sticky note, typically what you want to do is have a sticky note for each of the agents. A lot of people don't tell you these little tips, but I think these tips are what allows you to set yourself apart, because what you want to do is you want to be ahead of everyone else when you're building these out. These you don't really need to build out tickets for, but you can get the idea. So this, you could leave a note for yourself, and the note could be Telegram set up for XYZ customer. And so when you come in, I'm going to show you something that is very important to understand, and you will see why. When I first started, I had very poor file management and connection management techniques. So when I show you this, you're going to say, this makes a lot of sense. So when you go to my overview, well, actually, let's not do that. But when you have hundreds of projects and you're working 6 months later, you're looking at this project and you can't remember what you were doing, that's where the sticky notes come into play. So give yourself some notes. It doesn't affect anything. It takes a second to do, but the seconds, just like automation, what you do on the front end saves you time on the back end. So I'm going to erase some of these, but at least you know they're there. I promise you they are a lifesaver. Now, I promise I would show you some of the tips, right? I'm trying to give you some of the tips that I've learned from using this to make your life easier. So one of the tips is naming your connections. This is so challenging. I always forget to do it. If you look here, I have number 4. Every one of my OpenAI accounts says like OpenAI account 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And as you build these out, you have so many connections. When you run into an error, you don't know which one it is. So name them properly. Very important to name them. Always, as you're doing this, click save. And I noticed that this got disconnected as I was talking and got passionate. I am a Latin man, so I love talking with my hands. So we've already made the test agent for the vector test agent, right? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the actual database. All right. So now this is the agent that needs to do things, right? So let me talk to you about what's happening here. We're going to send it a chat. We're going to ask it to go retrieve some information. Not only are you going to retrieve information from ChatGPT, but we have our own database of our records. This could be your company policies. This could be anything you want it to be. But if it's a large volume of information, you can drop it in here and you could ask ChatGPT or any type of AI to go through and read through that information and give you summaries or give you whatever you want it to be. So now that we have that done, I'm going to click here and create a new workflow. Oh, excuse me. I'll hit overview, create a new workflow. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create the database of which you can put all of your company's information in. Vector database test. And again, I am using this in my left screen. That's why I'm naming it test. It's easier for me to have two open so that I can make this video faster and I'm not going crazy trying to solve connection issues. So now what we want to do for this one is to execute when another window is executed. So this part is actually very interesting because we have some information I put here, but what you want to do is hit drop down JSON example, and it's going to give you this as like a test. This is where you could use some information to test your information. Okay. So we'll change that. But basically, when you go into the agent, it's going to call this. You'll see. When we get to the end, you're going to be like, okay, this is pretty cool. So next thing, we want to link our Google Drive. And why do we want to link the Google Drive? It's because it sounds like a cool thing to do. But all right, so we have it didn't come up. So we have Google Drive. What we want to do is go down to Google Drive and download a file. So basically, what you want to do is create a system of where you can download these files from. So what I can give you an example is you can take, this is already connected. No need for me to do that, but this is in a file. Any documents we drop into this file will update the memory here in the database. And I'll show you why that's important in the future. But as we're building this out, let's keep going. I'm going to select the file that I want to be put in there. Again, you can just collect the whole file, but this is how we're going to start. I'm going to hit test this step, make sure the data goes through. Good to go. It's there. We have information. Now we hit back. As I mentioned, I'm horrible at forgetting to name, but please name your files. You're going to call me the name your file guy. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to extract from a PDF. So the file, you're going to want it to, so the file that I put here, I think it's actually a PowerPoint or it's a PDF. So what I want to do is I want to extract from a PDF, but you have different options as we just saw. So when you select this, here are your options. You can do CSV, HTML. You have a lot of different options. So you may need to do a splitter at some point if you have different file types. But we're going to do a PDF. Extract that data. Bam, test the step. It's going to send the data through. Bam, here's your, basically what just happened is it sent over 26 pages, all this information to the next one. Okay. So now what the next step we need to do is create the database. Where do we get this from? Click the plus. I just saw it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click in-memory vector database. We are going to embed the document. No, that's what I'm doing. Yep, no, that's right. Get the document, add document to vector store. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to get an in-memory vector store. So it comes up, here it is. I'm going to put add document to vector store, and this information is going to get sent to the memory. And now you have a spot where your memory is. As always, the power of this tool is the arms and legs and the brain. So here you want to embed an OpenAI. As always, there are others, but I just choose OpenAI because it's already connected and it's the easiest for me to use. There's many you can use. The last thing you need to do, actually two more things, and then I'll give you my 2 cents, is the default data loader. You want to put that in there. This all connects by itself, so there's no reason for you to have to connect anything. So this is why it looks like I'm just doing it fast, but these are connected already. So now this is the last thing you want to do is select recursive text splitter. And here is actually pretty interesting. You want to talk through this for a second. So the chunk size is how much data do you want it to read? So 1,000 words, 1,000 like letters. It's going to break up what you want it to read, because when you have a large document, now you're breaking them up into smaller documents, right? Now, this is important, right? I think I was going to overlook this for you, but what this means is now you have these documents that are like this. And now how much overlap do you want the AI to read so that it keeps the context? So if you're reading a paragraph and you said, today Tom went outside and it started raining, but you never got that context and you read that, but you finished that if it started raining, and then you don't know any of that information, and he put his boots on and fell in the ground because of water. You could think that it's because the water spilled from a sink. There's so many things that could happen. So since you don't have the context of what happened before, the AI could go off on a tangent or go off to left field. So it's really important for you to have a size that you think is comfortable. I'd say 50 is pretty good, but I mean, you could go and, I'll do some research and tell you how many you should do. So I'm going to take this down. I'm going to click save, and essentially we are done. So now let's run this. It's going to run through, test it all out. It's updating, and it's complete. And so now 46 items were sent to our AI agent. Now, that's not actually 100% accurate right now because the AI agent isn't connected to him. Well, it actually is connected. So the AI agent is connected here. So now, if I were to go in here and ask a question about the document of which I put in, it would be able to give you the answer from that document, not from something else. So that's the power of the AI vector. Again, key things, rename, notes, and then that overlapping of the data, very important. Again, if you want this JSON file, I'll send it over to you. It's going to be in my school community. So sign up for my school community in the link below. And then, give me some tips of what you want me to solve for you. So if you think there's a problem you have, let me know. I'll create a workflow for you, custom for you. I like doing this, so I do this in my spare time. So if you have a problem and automation you need, let me know. And I'm always looking for new use cases. Thank you.